to another video. Oh, today has been a very long day. Ivy is teething right now, so she is very fussy and she's very, tired all the time, and she's very cranky and very needy right now. And as much as I love it and I love getting, to cling with her, it's hard when there's stuff you have to do around the house. Yesterday, my husband and I were looking through old pictures and saw pictures from when I was in the hospital with her and when I was pregnant with her, and I get these moments of really wanting another baby. And then I kind of have to remind myself, like, as much as I loved when she was little, there were, positives and negatives to pregnancy and the birthing experience that sometimes I tend to forget. So that's kind of what this video was about, was the best and worst things about labor that I kind of wish that I knew. This is a continuation of my first video of things I wish I knew about pregnancy, but this is stuff that's more so positive and negative. I had a 37-hour labor. It was really hard. I had to be induced because I had gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with her, and they didn't want her growing too big, so I was admitted Sunday night and she was not born until Tuesday morning. So that was a lot. So, that was one thing that was kind of hard for me, but there are obvious positives. You get to have your baby. So without further ado, here are the best and worst things about going into labor. So the best thing for me was the support you feel when you are about to have a baby. It was amazing to me to see my friends and my family and my in-laws being around and basically wanting to be there at every moment, which I thought was fantastic, because I felt really supported. No matter what I was feeling, as if I was scared or if I was nervous or I didn't understand something, they were right there with me to explain things to me and to be a part of it, to share these memories with me. But along with that comes one of the worst parts, which is too much support. And what I mean by that is, it is really difficult for me to kind of consistently be surrounded by people, because I have a social anxiety and I have a really hard time with the constant feeling of being surrounded. So that was kind of hard for me, because I knew that my family just wanted to be there and be supportive and be, helpful, but there were times where I was like, okay, this is too much, this is way too much, like everyone needs to get out of the room. So that was kind of hard for me. And then you kind of feel guilty because you realize that people are just there to help, but it's a lot. Another good thing is, as scared as you may be to go through all of this, your body knows what to do. And that was some advice that my mother-in-law gave me right before I went into labor. That was really nice to think about, the fact that your body really knows what to do when you go into labor. So if you're scared, if you're nervous, your body regardless is going to do what it has to do. Listen to your doctors, listen to your family around you, because it is terrifying. And it doesn't matter how many books you read, the classes you take, when you are in that moment, there is so much going on in your head that you are going to forget most of that, and all you're going to think about is, get this baby out. One of the worst things is contractions. Contractions are like, imagine the worst period cramp you got and times that by 100. This was my experience. My mom said she barely felt her contractions. She was in and out of the hospital in 2 hours. That's what I wanted, and it didn't happen. But for me, my contractions felt as if my uterus was being run over. Now, mind you, I was all for whatever medication they could give me. I had no intention of going natural with this. If you are somebody who decided to go natural, they wanted to experience it, I salute you, because that was not even in my head at the moment. Another thing that is kind of a negative, and it's more so of, I wish I would have known or been a little bit more prepared. When you see in the movies about the water breaking, it's like somebody getting up and then it's like, the water's broken and, it's a puddle on the floor, and a lot of times it doesn't happen that way. A lot of times you go to the hospital first, and then either they break your water for you or it breaks naturally. It was really weird for me because the doctor asked me, okay, do you want to get up to go to the bathroom? And I was like, yeah, okay. So I was struggling to get up, and then all of a sudden, it just felt like this waterfall between my legs. It was kind of gross, if I'm being honest, but it felt like I was peeing myself and I couldn't stop. And I kind of just stopped for a second. And another thing that people don't tell you, it's not just water, it's blood and it's fluids. I'm sorry I'm getting a little graphic here, but that's another thing I kind of wish that I would have known, is what to expect, at least what it looked like. So the last positive that I have is how much love you feel when your baby is in your arms. It was so overwhelming to me because you look at this little person that you've never met before, you know, it's the first time you see them, and immediately you're overcome with this feeling of wanting to protect them and take care of them, and the amount of love you feel is so indescribable. And whether you are adopting or you know, are having your baby natural, or it's through a surrogate, or whatever it is, the first time you have your child in your hands, you have this instinct of, I am never going to let anybody hurt you, and I'm going to do whatever I can to protect you. That kind of goes along with my final point, and that is the feeling that you get when you leave the hospital. For me, there was, you know, some complications when it came to Ivy. When she was born, she had high levels of jaundice, so she had to sleep under this UV lamp, and they had to put a little blindfold on her so it wouldn't hurt her eyes, and then they also had to wrap her in this LED blanket. And that was really, really hard for me because she didn't like being in the light. She didn't like the feeling of her eyes being covered. It scared her. And as a mom, that was really hard because all you want to do, like I said, is just protect her and protect your baby. And you kind of watch and you know that this is the best thing for them, to help them, but it's really hard to see that. When we ended up going home, it was about 3 days after I had her, and it was so bittersweet because there was a part of me that was just so relieved to get to hold my baby and take her home and know that I get to keep her safe. But then you have this feeling of, okay, now I have to take her home and I have to keep her safe, and I'm not by doctors anymore, and I'm not surrounded by, you know, nurses to tell me how to do this, and you get so scared. And then you get home with them, and that first night is terrifying because you're alone. You know, you have your husband, and sometimes, you know, you can have your mom with you, but you put them down and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And for me, my first night, I kind of had an anxiety attack because I was holding her and she was being a little fussy. She just was trying to go to sleep, and it was like 3 a.m. I think, and my body was so drained, and I remember just holding Ivy just frigid. And my husband comes into the room and he was like, okay, you need to go to bed. And I was like, no, I can't let her go. And he goes, you need to give me the baby and you need to go to sleep. And he goes, you're not helping anybody with this mood you're in. You're not helping anybody with this energy you have. He goes, go take a nap. If you need to wake up in a couple hours, I'll wake you. He goes, let me take her. I am rested. I am okay. And that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the other video of, you need to learn to accept the help that's offered to you. And it's really, really hard as a mom because you want so badly to be the perfect mom without needing help. And in those first, like that first month, take as much help as you can get. I wish I can explain to you how amazing it feels. But when you finally have that opportunity to be a mom, it's the best thing you're ever going to feel. The love you have for your child is so indescribable, and it makes you want to be a better person. The funny thing about this is you are not going to remember most of it. You're going to remember the big details. You're going to remember when your water breaks. You're going to remember the feeling you have when you hold your baby. But the little things in between I had to be reminded of through a journal or through videos or through pictures or my husband telling me. And I think it's nature's way of just saying, like, it's all done and past. Here's the new challenge. Because that is the hard part. You think, you know, labor is hard. Motherhood is crazy. It is bananas to be a mom in the best way possible. And that's what my next video is going to be about. It's going to be about the best and worst things about motherhood. it's more good than bad. Probably in my first video where there's more benefits than there are negative. But just like everything in life, there are good and bad, and you kind of got to roll with the punches. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned so far, is just you learn to not have to be in control about everything because you can't control most of it. So thank you for watching another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, just please message me, please comment, and go ahead and follow my Instagram. I'll put it in a link below. Bye guys.